Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to check out this video. Today we're going to be doing my very first book review. We're going to be covering Course by Neemdog. Alright, so before we dive into the book, I just want to talk about Neemdog a little bit. Neemdog, he's actually a Brooklyn-based magician. This is actually his third book that he's written. The first two books that he's written were Trick Things, Elephant, and then came Course, and then he co-wrote 9 Black Cats with Lorenzo. This book has some amazing content. Same thing with Elephant and Trick Things. These two books, you can't really find them anymore, and to be honest, you can't really find Course anymore, but you can still find 9 Black Cats. So online, you could definitely pick up 9 Black Cats, which I highly suggest you do, because Neemdog is a fantastic writer. It's one of those books that when you read it, it feels like you're actually having a conversation with him. It's funny. It has a lot of his own personality tied into it. He's a fantastic writer, and it's a very, very easy read. Now, diving into Course, this was the second book that I picked up from him. I had originally picked up Elephant to show support and check out his writing style. Now, Course is one of those books where it really had me dive into how he was as a writer and his thinking process. Now, the first book that I picked up from Neemdog was Elephant, and that tied into a bunch of effects that he had put in Trick Things, his first book, and then a bunch more. And I really got to know him as a writer, and I really got to see his writing style. And like I said before, it was one of those books that as you're reading it, it really feels like you're having a conversation with him. It's really not like any other magic book that I've ever read before. When I picked up Course, I really didn't know what to expect, and I really didn't know that it was going to make that much of an impact on my magic and how I practice as a magician, because I feel that there's multiple ways to practice magic. For me anyway, there's how I practice creativity, and then there's how I practice with absolute goals in mind that I want to accomplish and that I want to make hit some milestones, overall improve my sleight of hand and actually work toward that. And Course actually really defined that for me. I think with a lot of magicians now, and even in the past, when you start off in magic, you are kind of going in all different kinds of directions. You are, especially now when we're being bombarded by downloads constantly, new content literally every day. And I think as a new magician now, I think more books need to be like this one. I'm going to be sharing some things from this book that I think really are key points and have made an impact on my life and my magic journey. Now, with Neemdog, what he starts talking about is, in this book, he actually goes over his specific practice regimen, and he correlates that with martial arts and having a belt system, a colored belt system. And I want to go over some of this with you and kind of share pretty much some of the things that he was talking about. Having a white belt is essential. Every grandmaster of any structured martial art consciously began their journey with a white belt representing purity, innocence, and infinite potential. This is not to imply that practice makes one impure. It only serves as more formal marking point for your new journey and your devotion to study and growth. So it's almost like as if you have a renewed mindset toward your magic to make a conscious decision that you want to grow, that you want to be more disciplined, and you actually, your craft, your art, you want to take it more seriously, and you want to excel in it so much more, if that's what you choose to do. One thing that he does is he kind of breaks down his regimen. So it's essentially a 2-hour practice session. And he does this about anywhere from like 3 to 4 times a week. So that's roughly about 6 to 8 hours a week that he fits in all this practice. So it's a mix of drills, reading, new moves, and routines. It's 30-minute drills, 30-minute reading, 30-minute new moves, and 30-minute new routines. He also includes a warm-up and a cool-down. In his current drills that he does 10 sleights for 3 minutes each. He does his perfect pharaoh shuffles, truffle shuffles, push-through shuffle, running cuts, bottom deals, pinky counts, David's calls, top shot, pop-out move, one-handed top palm, Cardini change variation. And then he goes into it. If you're more of a beginner, your drills may look like double lifts, double undercuts, Erdnase color change, overhand shuffle control, riffle force, top change, etc. When I saw this, I'm like, you know what? I should totally structure my practice regimen as to what I do. So what I did was I actually have my practice regimen here. So my practice regimen is actually kind of intense. So here's my regimen here, and I'll attach a picture of this at the end of the video. So my creative machine, if I just want to be creative and I don't want any structure or anything like that, I've got 4 steps. I fiddle with the deck of cards. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. You just mess with the deck of cards, try putting cards in different positions and trying to steal them in different ways, just literally unorthodox ways. Or I'll take a card, stab it into a magic book, anywhere that is, I'll open it up and then I'll begin reading. I'll revisit old magic videos that have been stuck in my drawer for years that I've forgotten about, that I haven't even looked at. I'll go revisit those videos, and those will kind of help get that creative process going. And then I'll repeat step 1. I'll go back to fiddling. And then from there, I'll go into my regimen, which is hand warm-ups, tinker moves, basic drills, heavy drills, my moves, routines, and reading. So those are pretty much my structured routines, which I'll go into maybe on a different video. But for now, let's get back to Neema's book. I also wanted to share this. It says, if it's helpful, consider scheduling practice sessions just as you'd schedule work or a meeting. It should not be difficult to find this time, no matter how busy you are. Yes, it will feel exhausting at times, but you will never regret your devotion. Scheduling out specific time for you to practice, especially if you take magic seriously and if it's something that you want to improve, you will make time for it. Just like working out, it becomes part of your lifestyle. You will make time to go to the gym if you want to, or work out. Like, if that's part of your life and it's important to you, you will make time to do that. And then he goes into reading, and I agree that reading is like a muscle. Even though magic books may seem dull, especially some of the older ones, reading is like a muscle. It is something that you constantly have to improve and work at every day. Even if it's like 20 or 30 minutes, just force yourself to do it and just read. He says, read whatever magic related books you'd like. Read books on mentalism or coin magic, it doesn't matter. Just read. Learn methods. Learn how different thinkers in the industry found their way through a puzzle. Learn about what different people find astounding. It is essential to read rather than watch DVDs and downloads, because your mind will be forced to engage deeply to find understanding and create connections within the information. Reading is active. Writers practice efficiency. The messages they share are often condensed and to the point. So the pages of a book are often saturated with far more precious insight than a video could have. Yes, feel free to enjoy downloads, but do that on your free time. If you practice 4 days a week, let yourself enjoy video instruction on the 4th day, but continue reading through the other 3. So I think that's something really, really good to just to really think about. You know, really consider picking up magic books and honestly force yourself to read just a little bit a day. You don't have to read every single day, just a few times a week, but just set yourself down 20 minutes. Boom, handle it. There's a lot of theory in here, but he also goes into 5 effects. But this is the last bit of theory, and then I'm going to share with the effects some of the effects that he goes over. And this is in regards to a spectator calling you out, which I think sometimes it really does bug us, and it kind of pisses us off because we feel in our mind that we're the magician, we're the entertainer, they're the spectator, and they just need to sit down, shut up, and enjoy. But this kind of opened my eyes to something on that. Says, knowing that dozens of spectators had been polite and simply said nothing about exposure when I'd shown my routines is heartening, but also deeply embarrassing. The truth of those moments was now rewritten. It doesn't transform success to failure, but it does serve as a constant reminder that the artistic process is truly an ongoing process and not a sporadic series of endpoints. I've been practicing 3 days a week in front of a three-way mirror ever since this run-in with a wide grinning guy, and even though I hated him in that moment, I thank him now and consider him to have played a major role in my growth as a magician. Pretty much what he's talking about there was in a situation where he was performing for a magician while he performing for a spectator while he was working at a magic shop, and when he was doing something of his own, the spectator called him out 3 times because he as a magician flashed, and the spectator called him out. Now, I guarantee there have been times where we think our sleights are solid, but maybe the spectator just saw through it, or actually saw us make a move and they were just too polite to say anything. So it's one of those things where if someone calls us out, yeah, it may strike a chord and piss you off a little bit, but maybe reconsider and be like, you know what? I need to go back and hit the drawing board. All right. Now, there's 5 effects in this book course. Just gonna go over a few of them. Really cool one that I really liked was Gummick. And it's a spectator's thought of card vanishes from the shuffle deck and ends up in a gum wrapper, which has been sitting on the table the whole time, which is really rad. Now, Gummick Extreme is pretty much an extreme version of Gummick, and it's where the spectator's card vanishes from the deck. The magician who's been chewing on the gum reaches inside, grabs the gum, takes out the gum, and it is in the shape of the spectator's selected card. He reaches inside his mouth again, and he pulls out the selected card, which has been folded up in his mouth. Pretty intense. So a few things that I just wanted to take away from this book is, honestly, have a practice regimen. I think it's very, very important that you do, if you want to improve, you want to be a great magician, a great flourisher, take time and actually devote that specific time to your art to improve yourself and actually get better. Another point that he had made is actually have a practice space, meaning have a specific place that you go to where it's pretty much as soon as you get there, you get into a zone, and that is your practice space, that is your practice time, and it's a place where you just devote time to improve upon your craft. Now, another thing that he had mentioned, which I am a whole huge advocate for, is practicing the music. And the reason why I feel like practicing the music is so strong is because, in my opinion, it helps with the fluidity of the moves. Depending on the type of music you listen to, you can definitely have your moves go to the music. One artist that I really like to listen to is called 2 Steps from Hell. Fantastic, almost like epic film score style music. And it's very dramatic, and I feel a lot of the moves that I do can flow very nicely. Some people will listen to jazz, and that type of music will flow nicely for them. So that is Course. That's my review on Course. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already, but you do like this content, hit that subscribe button as well. Give the bell a little. That way you're notified for future videos coming up. But until next time, be well, take care, and get some fresh air.